is called the Wildfire Calculator. Why we need the Wildfire Calculator? The number of wildfires has recently been increasing at an astounding rate. Fires can be beneficial to the environment in terms of evolution if they are medium-sized, but climate change has caused the size of forest fires to get out of control. Over the past 5 decades, the size of summertime forest fires has increased by around 800%. Lightning does start some of these fires, but humans account for starting 85% of wildfires across the globe. Many people don't know where to get information about the danger of starting a fire where they are. Thus, informing people on the safety of starting a fire where they are can be very useful in decreasing the amount of forest fires across the globe. This project is intended to make finding the danger of starting a fire as easy to look up as possible. What the Wildfire Calculator does. In the Wildfire Calculator, users just have to open the calculator, and with no input, they find out how dangerous it is for them to start a fire at the time and place. They use the calculator on an integer scale from 0 to 100, 100 being the most dangerous and 0 being the least. The Wildfire Calculator app also includes information pages on preventing and preparing for a wildfire. How the calculations were made. Temperature, humidity, wind speed, and vegetation were all taken into account to make the wildfire calculation. The temperature, humidity, and wind speed were recorded from a farmer's almanac from the 3 days before 75 random wildfires in California in 2019 and the day of the wildfires and labeled as X coordinates. If there was a wildfire that day, 1 is the paired Y value. If not, 0 is the paired Y value. Then a linear regression tool was used to form the individual equations representative of the effects of temperature, humidity, and wind speed on the likelihood of a wildfire starting. For vegetation, the percent vegetation in 58 counties in California was compared to how many fires were reported there by CAL FIRE in 2019. A linear regression tool was used to form an equation representative of the percent vegetation's effect on the likelihood of a wildfire starting. All 4 equations were adjusted to a scale of 0 to 100, where the lowest possible value for each variable got a score of 0 and the greatest possible value for each variable got a score of 100. All 4 scores were then averaged together equally to get the final calculation. And the next slide is just a picture of the Google spreadsheet with all my calculations.
All right, that's super cool. I will, and then this is the app. Let me close out all my stuff. This is the wildfire risk app that we created. It was meant to be as bare bones yet informative as possible because we want to make sure people get the information that they need without much clutter. So this is the home screen. This is what happens when you launch up the app and you see this big number is our scale out of 100 of the wildfire risk in your area. And this is super cool because it takes the user's device's location and then puts that into the algorithm we developed to find the value for the risk of a wildfire in your area. Now we have this button that explains what we explained in the presentation for users that are skeptical of the reliability of our app because a number doesn't mean much if there's not meaning behind it. Now, if we go over to this prevention tab, it shows ways to prevent a wildfire, and we have some information for the user to use and keep in the back of their mind as they want to prevent a wildfire. This is just it. This is pretty much what it is. It helps users be safe in their communities and improve on them. And then with the wildfire, there's this tab over here called prevention or preparation, and it will show people how to prepare for a wildfire. And that is really important for people who might either be in a wildfire at the moment, which is highly unlikely, or someone who's preparing for it, this information needs to get to the user as fast as possible in a very readable way, which is what we focused on. So our app has a bottom navigation bar with icons that load, with icons that represent what each page is. So for the risk, there's a warning symbol. For the prevention, there's a fire extinguisher, and for the preparation, there's a fire icon. We think this will help the user prepare and be better if there is either a wildfire in their area, they want to know more about wildfires, the risk of a wildfire in their area, or ways to help prevent wildfires in their communities. So yeah, is there anything else anyone else needs to add?
Okay, we the way we got the location and stuff is we used APIs, and we got weather from APIs, and then we also got vegetation for APIs, and all of those go into the equation as the algorithm to find the total risk.
Yeah, so it's extremely in-depth calculations. We're really impressed with it. Do you have something else?
All right, we're done.
All right,
Done.
awesome. Thank you guys for looking at our project.